Hi, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing well too. Why I'm raising kids in China? Raising a kid is never easy, but doing it in a foreign country, that's a whole new level. People often ask me why China. For some it's an unusual choice, but for me it was not just about the opportunity, it was about value, lifestyle, and the kind of environment I wanted my child to grow up in. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I'm raising my kids in China. The big decision. Moving to China was not just a career move, it was a life decision. When I first came here, I never thought this place would become home, not just for me but for my child too. Let me be the honest, it was not the part of plan. I came to China with a suitcase, short contracts, and zero clue that life was about to completely change. I thought I would stay a year or maybe two, but then I fell in love not just with the place, with the rhythm of life, with people, with culture. And then when we found out we were going to become parents, a lot of questions came up. Should we go back home? Should we raise our child where we grew up? Or should we stay China and give them completely different kind of upbringing? It was not easy. Everyone around us had an opinion. Some said it's risky, others said it's selfish or strange. We looked at what we had here: safety, community, education, opportunity, and slowly the answer became clear. And choosing to raise our child in China was one of the best decisions we have ever made. Now let's move to another point, that is safety and community. You know what's give me the most peace as a parent? It's not test score, it's not how fast my child is growing, it's knowing they are safe. I feel safe here. It is common to see kids walking to school or playing outside late. That's the real sense of community, and that give me a peace of mind as a parent. Here in China is so much safer when it compared to the West, like in US or other Western countries where you will see the mass shootings and so many incidents like this. However, in China you can go out in the night, take my son go out to the park anytime. We don't have to worry about our safety. You don't have to look over your shoulder. When compared to the UK or US, when you go out in the night, you have got to be looking over your shoulder, worrying about are we gonna get attacked, mugged, robbed. In China, you don't have to worry about that all. So as for the safety, I want to live in a place where I can feel like I can send my kids out the door and let them play with their friends even when there is a dark. And I see this really happening in Shanghai. Kids are out when it is dark, there's no parent around them, and they look happy and carefree. If you look around the city, there are people literally everywhere. That means there are going to be eyes on my kids no matter where they go. I can feel way more comfortable that people are seeing, people are watching, and there are cameras literally everywhere in the public areas. Shanghai has a camera that cover 100% of public spaces. Can you believe it's literally 100%? That's wild. Even in the walking here, you can see behind me a camera, and there are a lot of cameras, so my kids can go everywhere literally. The next point is infrastructure. China is living in future. My kids would not be depend on me to drive them school, to drive them anywhere in China. I can trust that my kids can take subway, buses, trains, use bike, and even they can go by walk. In fact, I have seen many kids when they go out from the school, they normally go with their friends and they feel completely safe. Now let's talk about one of the best things raising kids in China. It's everywhere. It is in the food, the festival, the music, the history. This place is not just where we live. It's an adventure. Living here is not watching culture from a distance. It's about being a part of it. It's about showing my child the world is bigger than them, more beautiful than books can describe, and worth exploring with an open heart. Trying new food, celebrating different festivals, exploring diversity daily. This memory, this exposure, it's priceless. China might not be where I was born, but it's where my child is growing, and that's make it home. If you ever wonder what raising a kid in China is really like, now you know at least my version of it. In China, respect for parents, teachers, and elderly people are deeply rooted. One of the first thing I noticed here is how deeply curiosity. Respect is woven in everyday life. It's not just something that kids are taught. It's something they live. Kids grow up understanding community and discipline. That value I want my kids to learn. Not for me, but the whole world around them. In the West, we often talk about the independence, but in China, there is a beautiful balance. Kids are raised to be capable, yes, but also considerate. Even in lots of kindergarten, you will see they teach kids a lot of different things, which is helpful for their life. Even if you see the TikTok video, you will find a lot of those kind of videos. And one of the best thing they will learn is about civic sense. Let's go to another point, that is education and structure. Let's talk about something that people always ask me. Is not the Chinese education system is too strict? And yes, on the surface it's intense. Kids here work so hard. They are focused. Their homework, extra classes, even Saturday lessons sometime. But there's the thing, that's structure. It builds something. It builds discipline, habits and respect of learning. Yes, the Chinese education system is intense, but there's the structure, focus and drive for excellence. It's about finding balance, but the dedication to learning is inspiring. Of course, we keep balance. We make time for play, for curiosity, for just being a kid. But in China, education is not about the passing exams. It's about honoring opportunity. And that's the mindset I want my child to grow up with. There's a rhythm of education in China that's a different and honestly kind of beautiful. I saw the care teacher put in the sense of responsibility the kids carry, and how education is not just about scores, it's about showing up. I did not choose this system because it's perfect. I choose it because it builds habits. Speaking about activities, I love how many extra activities are available for my kids. From martial arts to calligraphy, traditional dance and even coding camps, there's always something to spark their internet. China places of a huge value on holistic development, so they are constantly learning and trying new things. Now it brings me the another point is a factory. China is the factory of the world. Everything made in China. Even now with the 5G chips, everything made in China. The US, the West, they cannot even compete. In China, you have ease to access so many things like online shopping, affordable toys, and I think there are a lot of toys. There are a lot of new learning toys, as well as I have seen there are a lot of new AI toys are made in China, and they are easily available. My kids will be immersed in the language, which brings me to the next point, learning Chinese or more languages in China. Chinese is the hardest language to learn ever. So there's no better way to learn the language to be here in China. But in Shanghai, you can learn the several languages here. Why? It's because this environment is so international. Which brings me to the next point, how international is Shanghai, and there are many foreigners here. I'm constantly meeting from all over the world. If you meet a foreigner as a foreigner, you literally can become friends just on the basis that you are a foreigner, I'm a foreigner, let's be a friend. So I think that's really a fabulous, and also it's due to having huge international people. This is what I want my kids to feel like. They are so connected to the rest of the world while living in one place. Shanghai is very friendly, and this also brings to my next point. China malls are thriving. In China, the malls that you go are huge, and they always have one floor totally dedicated to just kids stuff. And in also those malls, there are fabulous food option and also feature kids stuff. Food, the best part about these kid-friendly places is that they are super affordable. And there are many more reasons why you want to raise your kids in China. And also there are some of my foreigner friends who also believe that raising kids in China is completely different, and it's really, really very good. Let's see their views as well.
So what do I love about being in a different country, especially in China? I love that our kids can grow up speaking Chinese and learning another culture. I love the food. I love that there's noodles and Chinese dishes and baozi and dumplings and jiaozi and all sorts of great food for them. But my favorite thing for them really is all about the culture, which means they get to expand their worldview by living in another country. We like living overseas, especially in China, because it's safe. Here there's no guns, there's very little crime. I would literally let my kids walk around at midnight by themselves in the city because I just know it's safe. There are cameras everywhere, which freaks people out sometimes, but we also know that even despite the lack of privacy, that creates more safety for us. And we really like that. We like living in a safe place, and it just feels really comfortable for us.
Raising a child in China is so much different than doing so in South Africa, for example. Now, I've never raised a kid in South Africa, but I do remember being a kid and growing up there. The lifestyle in Xinjiang is very, very different. For one thing, we have incredibly long and cold winters, and the warmer months are very short and just seem to fly by. So because of the cold weather, we do frequently go to indoor places designed for kids. And trust me when I say these kinds of places are in abundance. The child-friendly market here is massive because people are very family-orientated. And years ago, during the one-child policy, you can imagine that the child was like a sacred little being to every family, and people wanted to give everything and just the best of everything to that child.
Something I like mostly about raising children in China is the way their system has invested in children play areas. Hence, most families consist of one child. So the government has done quite a good job by creating more space parks, amusement parks, where children can go and meet others, play with others. So this is something that I appreciate about raising my son here in China.
I think raising my daughter in China is an amazing opportunity, and I'm very blessed that I'm able to do so. As a South African, one of the biggest things for me is the safety. And I can walk home in the dark at 10 p.m. with my daughter from the subway, and I never ever feel unsafe.
And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next video with another good topic. Till then, bye bye.